Well, welcome to the Political Vigilante, everybody. I am joined by my friend, activist, whistleblower, and a creator of Panquake.com. Susie, how are you doing?
You forgot owner of a audacious little pug.
Right. Owner of a pug that really marked my bag when I was at your place in Moscow repeatedly.
I considered bringing him on to co-host, but I didn't want to trigger your PTSD.
Yes, I don't know. I'd be worried just my backpack might freak out just hearing your dog. That's what I'm worried about. My backpack is a sentient being. So it might be.
It might just get nostalgic.
Yeah, maybe my bag really has fond memories of its Moscow trip. I don't know. Maybe I should judge my backpack's lifestyle choices. Well, how is your pug doing?
My pug's pretty good, thank you. He's doing pretty good. He misses you.
I'm sure he does. Well,
He's looking forward to your next visit.
Yes, I can't wait. I'll bring the same backpack because I know they're fond of each other. So I don't want to get in the way of that reunion. But I wanted to bring you back on the show because
I was so wildly popular last time.
Yes, you were. People love having you on the show, Susie. You're a fantastic guest. And obviously, you were on the show about a month ago, right when this show got demonetized. It was a couple days after it. And then I think you were on right when the whole bloodletting was happening, when they took down 10 or 12 shows. Some of those shows have been put back, but some haven't. In fact, you were just on Hardlands Media, and they're out of Chicago, and I know them. They do really good work. And that video got pulled down. And so the censorship is continuing. And
yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievable to watch how this is happening. And of course, so I don't know, how do you see this, just not only what's happened in the last month, but how it's playing out just based on all the work that you've done over the years as a whistleblower, working with WikiLeaks and stuff like that? How are you seeing this? What direction are we heading in?
Well, I think there were people who took very big risks to try to warn us about this years ahead of time. If you read Julian Assange's book, Cypherpunks, which was released in 2012, it's absolutely packed full of warnings of the dystopian future of digital censorship, of the filterverse of one, as Julian calls it, of information that comes in to us to read or see, being manipulated by those who have a vested interest in controlling what we believe and who we can communicate with, and information that we're putting out into the world also being manipulated or stifled or skewed to prevent us connecting with other like minds, and just to prevent change. I mean, all of this is really an exercise in risk management from the business perspective of empire. They fear change. They don't want change. Mm-hmm. And us communicating with each other and working together and building solutions is a business risk to those who control the purse strings. And that risk must be mitigated. And how they mitigate that risk is by trying to break our relationships, trying to prevent us from communicating effectively, trying to prevent us from organizing. And there's a litany of ways that they do that, but censorship is a huge component of that. And so the increasing censorship reflects an increasing awareness and thirst amongst the population to do something about the dire circumstances that we find ourselves in, which largely the blame for which can be laid directly at the feet of those very same entities and people who are censoring us.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's, you and I were talking last week or whenever, and, about, and you were bringing this up about how effective they are at creating infighting and distracting and dividing people. And I was just saying, you know, it's a thing we've all sort of had this general thing just because of COVID of like, we're feeling very isolated and distracted and stuff like that. And I was saying like, one of the things I miss, I mean, it was a little over a year ago. It was January of last year where I was like at a No War with Iran rally in downtown Los Angeles. And I was there, and the Convo Couch and Jimmy Dore and Ron Placone and Abby Martin and Mike Preisner were all down there. And we're all like, yeah, man, we're like getting stuff done. And, you know, we're going to make our voices heard. And it was, you know, people were there talking about the importance of WikiLeaks and Julian Assange. And, you know, he, you know, his famous quote of, you know, if lies can get us into war, then peace, you know, then the truth can get us to peace, or something. I'm paraphrasing, but, and it's now worse. I mean, there's not even like, well, maybe Bernie or Tulsi Gabbard might get in there. And maybe, you know, she was the only candidate that was openly in favor of pardoning Julian Assange. And now we've just got, oh my God, we've got Joe Biden and his, you know, cuddly rainbow flag wrapped fascism. And the squad is completely bought and paid for. And Bernie and everybody else is just sort of acquiesced to the powerful. And it seems worse than it was. And you brought up a point to me. You said, yeah, and probably a year ago, you thought it was really bad. This is how they do it. They just constantly make you feel like it's bad, it's getting worse, you've got no chance. They want you to feel dejected. They want you to feel like there's nothing I can do. I'm banging my head against the wall. And, you know, that's why they do these things like demonetize my show and others, and take down videos and demonetize shows like Heartlands Media and the other ones, because they just want you to feel like you cannot win against this massive monolith. And yeah, people have been warning us about this for a while, including Julian Assange. I mean, there's the Cyberpunks book, and then there's also When WikiLeaks Met Google, and he talked about that meeting and Eric Schmidt's, you know, working with the CIA. And now here it is. I mean, Google owns YouTube, and they can just stop me and other shows from making money to deter me. They want me to either go away or come back and just make videos that are a little more palatable to the ruling elites. Right? I mean, it's
it's the Borg, and resistance is futile. Like, they want you to just have this overwhelming experience of futility. I don't know about you, but growing up, I always used to, when I'd ask basic questions, you know, about why is there war and why do we allow there to be war, I would get, well, that's just the way the world is, and we can't do anything about it, and it's always been that way. And the reality is we can do something about it, but we can't do something about it through Obama, Hope and Change 2008. We can't do something about it through like these hero figures. You know, we can't, like, as much as Tulsi Gabbard was fantastic and, you know, seems to be very principled and seems to believe in her stance, what's the chance of her actually being able to change the system from within the system? No one is ever really successful at changing the system from within the system unless they are some military dictator and stage an actual coup, in which case things aren't getting better, they're getting even worse. And I just don't see that working with, this is the hard lesson of my life for the last 10 years, working within the system is not the answer to changing the system. I think if we want to change it, we have to change it socially, we have to change it societally, we have to change ourselves collectively, and we have to build outside the system structures which the system is forced to either imitate or accommodate in ways which force them to make concessions to us. And we've seen a little bit of that over the last 7 weeks with Panquake. Panquake has come in with a totally different attitude and business model and commercialization model to the status quo social media companies. And we're already seeing the reaction to that from those companies, not just in the attempts to censor us, but they're starting to already change their models because of us. It was anathema for Twitter to embrace any type of subscription model prior to the Panquake launch. And we proved that actually users are willing to pay a subscription fee if you are not selling those users out. if you are protecting those users, if you are building a valuable service for those users that will reinforce their rights. And Twitter has looked at that. In my opinion, it's pretty obvious from the screens that they've released, which are literally purple and not Twitter blue, and which seem to be very, very hastily tossed together in an attempt to give the appearance that they're innovating when they're not very innovative at all. And they have adopted this idea of a subscription model, even right down to their $4.99 charge a month, as opposed to our $5 charge a month. Except they've forgot the part about protecting users and not selling them out. So now you can pay $5 a month and be sold out still. Or you can embrace an alternative that is truly going to revolutionize your user experience and to restore your ability to communicate. And that's exactly what Panquake is about. It's about reopening the channels of free communication between people, putting them back in control of their own relationships, and verifiably preventing meddling or manipulation of their content or their relationships on the platform.
Right. And just so our audience, if anyone who's watching right now might not know what Panquake is, it is basically a Twitter style social media platform, but it's blockchain. It's all transparent and open sourced, and you're going to go off a subscription model, which some people might be like, oh man, I don't want to, I have enough subscriptions, which I understand. But one of the key things in your early idea for this was, if we have advertisers, that's how they can help manipulate. I mean, advertisers come in and say, oh, you can't say this. And then they start the censoring and the throttling and all that other crap that has happened, like to me here on YouTube. And
the spying, Graham.
Yeah.
The advertisers and the social media platforms are literally spying on us to create these advertising profiles, to better serve their advertising content to us. And that advertising content that they're shoving onto our timelines and in front of our eyeballs is replacing the content that we should be looking at and should be engaging with, which is the content from our friends and family. And our friends and family are being pushed out so that we can look at, in my case, as I've said before, Chanel ads, which for some reason I do not understand, keep showing up all over my timeline. So they are taking our time, they're taking our space, and increasingly they're openly engaged in nefarious acts, unfollowing you from your friends, and you're unfollowing your friends from you, and constantly gaslighting us in the sense of we never know if, like, oh, did I actually follow that person? Maybe I did not. Have they unfollowed me? Do they not actually like me? Maybe they're angry with me for something. Maybe they didn't like some post I put. No, the platform itself unfollowed them from you. And now it's going to take you weeks or months to work that out, if ever, and to try and repair that relationship that you thought you had already made. And to me, these big platforms they're not even social media platforms anymore. They've become anti-social media. Like, they're fostering these antisocial attitudes, and just they're harming people. They're harming people and harming people's relationships.
Yeah, and it's not just personal relationships, which are, it's awful, all the things you've laid out that have happened to all of us, but also, like, I and most, entertainers use social media professionally. Like, I promote, watch this live stream, or before the shutdown, like it's a great way to sell tour dates, tickets for tour dates, and they're throttling my views, or they're not giving it to all of my followers. Like, this is such an insane thing. It's like, you subscribe to Rolling Stone magazine, and you want that subscription, you want that magazine sent to your house every week, and then they decide, oh, we're not going to send it to some people this week. That's how insane this is. It's like, wait a minute, they subscribe to me, they want my content, they want to know when I'm coming to their city to buy a ticket to my show, they want to watch my live streams, they want to watch my YouTube videos, and then Twitter is saying no. Like, it's insane to me. And of course, as we know, not just Google, but also Facebook and also Twitter, they have executives or people on the board of directors, or, people like Zuckerberg or Eric Schmidt, who work directly with intelligence. So it's about data collection as well, which is, another thing that they use against us and keep us, fighting with each other and divided. And, we're so how, let's go into some of the things that you in the creation of and the design of Panquake, and you guys have done a lot of work, and you have Bill Binney working on your team, which is amazing to me. What are the things that you have in Panquake that makes it not open or subject to all of these complaints that we've just listed for the big tech social media platforms?
So you mean in terms of design, like technical design?
Yeah.
Of Panquake, in terms of censorship resistance specifically, or as in protecting users?
Yeah, all of it, I guess.
All of it. Okay, well, I mean, the basics are, as we've said, it's advertising free. And the reason it's advertising free is because it's user supported. It's because our users are our customers. We serve them, they support us financially. And so we can design our entire system around benefiting them and protecting them in every single way. So we don't need to spy on them and steal their data and sell it to advertisers, because our users are the customers, the advertisers are not our customers. So that's it first and foremost. Secondarily, it's been designed in such a way that we don't collect user data in the first instance, and therefore that data can't be seized by governments or intelligence agencies or anybody else. It's essentially a peer-to-peer mesh network type situation. So users are sending their information to each other. They're collectively contributing device resources to process the content, and then that content, the publicly facing content, is being published to the blockchain where everybody can see it, and there's a proof. There's a public proof of everything you've done. So I follow you, there's a blockchain record. Susie followed Graham. So I don't have to wonder, did I actually follow Graham? And then no one can come along and unfollow you from me or vice versa without our consent. There can be no manipulation of that, because any change that is made to that blockchain record is visible to the entire network, which means that any content that we have to moderate, and in some cases we do have to moderate content just because we don't want nefarious actors putting child porn and God knows what on our network, the whole network can see what we've moderated, why we've moderated, who we moderated, when we moderated. It's all completely transparent, unlike Twitter and Facebook. Twitter can unfollow whoever they want from whoever they want, and we have no way to track when that happened, who it happened to, why it happened. We have no visibility. There's just this total opaque wall around them hiding their activities. And their activities as they relate directly to our accounts, our relationships, our content. We're just left guessing at what they're actually up to. And with Panquake, it turns that inside out. With Panquake, everything that we do is visible to everyone. So there is no guessing or wondering, or there can be no suspicion that we're up to no good, because you can see for yourself transparently what's happening. And subsequently, there's no shadow banning on Panquake. Panquake is a place that you can post your content and know that people will see it. There's also no prioritization of content in terms of no paid boosting services, nothing like that. You can't use money to get ahead on Panquake as you can with other platforms. So we do charge a flat $5 a month, but that's it. It's not like $5 a month plus $2 here, $10 here, $20 here. Give us more money, we'll do more stuff for you. It's a totally level playing field. Every user has the same ability to get their content seen. Every user has the same abilities to interact with. Every registered user has the same abilities to use our functionality and to build a following. And to build a following, you won't lose. Like, I know you on YouTube, you have worked so hard to build a following, and you have to wonder, like, how big would your following actually be if no one had been messing with it? Like, how many people actually did click that subscribe button versus what that little number says on the page? And, what is the discrepancy? And you're never going to have to ask yourself those questions on Panquake. On Panquake, the followers you have are the people who click the follow button, and you can see the blockchain record to prove that. And so it's just putting the trust back in it's putting the social back in social media. It becomes a platform that is just for social engagement, and we can build a following. And even though we're not having advertising and we're not that it's a level playing field for all users, absolutely you can come and advertise your service, your business, your whatever you want to there, the same as any other user can. But it's just all about giving. It's about fairness. It's about giving everybody a fair opportunity, and it's about protecting our human right to communication and to freedom of association. We should be able to talk to each other without somebody else inserting themselves into the middle and deciding whether or not we can talk.
Oh yeah, it's the equivalent of like, if some dog was marking my bag, but I didn't know it. Just kept it hidden.
But I'm going to get him his own Panquake account, so just so that he can troll you. You know what we're going to call it? We'll call it at Pugquake.
Well, as long as what he's doing to my bag is on the blockchain, that's all I'm concerned with, so that we just have a public record of it.
Well, I don't want you to feel like what he did was targeted harassment, because we'd have to address that.
No, it's just my bag just happened to be in the wrong room. That's
real world harm.
But so this does bring up a serious question that I have. So how is, we've seen the intelligence community either hijack this with bots and fake accounts, or just work directly with the social media platform itself. What do you guys have at Panquake to prevent that from happening? Let's say clearly you guys are already ruffling feathers for Twitter to suddenly change its colors game and to be like, hey, we've got a subscription model, which who's going to want to pay for? Oh, so you guys can screw me over and I pay you. Oh, this is fantastic. What a great deal. Like, this is great. But explain to some of our viewers who might have some questions, like because that's always, people say we're going to come up with this new platform and it's going to be great. But then everyone always has a question, which is a very valid one, which is, okay, so let's say you become so big. What happens when the intelligence community wants to buy you up, or Google wants to buy you, or they want to shut you down, or do what they did to Parler after the Capitol?
Well, I'm tempted to offer you the job of director of security, actually, but I think it's already been taken. We've got some pretty clever people working on this question, and have had since day one. Panquake, the application, is hosted in Iceland. So when you log in, you'll be logging into a service that is hosted in a non-US jurisdiction, non-5i jurisdiction, which has laws and a constitution which are very invested in protecting freedom of information, freedom of communications. It is really the optimal place in the world to host an alternative independent social media service like Panquake. So that gets rid of the Amazon Web Services problem. And then, of course, there is the problem of vested interests with large amounts of money wanting to wage lawfare on US soil. And so to avoid that, to ensure that we can't have litigious, malicious people trying to mess with us financially with our resources, we are registering in multiple jurisdictions, again, outside of the reach of the US or 5i. And, it's pretty tragic that we even have to take those steps, given the First Amendment and, the US Constitution, which should theoretically protect us from this. But as we know, the control mechanisms of centralized power are all about shutting down any competition. And I have no doubt they will attempt to squash us in whatever way they can. But we have guaranteed that won't be by technological means. So just as I often explain to people, WikiLeaks.org has had the full weight of US intelligence agencies set against it for more than 10 years. And WikiLeaks.org is still online. You can still go there, browse content, and read it. The reason is because very clever people behind WikiLeaks worked out how to mirror and distribute their hosting in such a way that even if it went down in one country or another country, they're able to constantly shuffle where they're serving the content from. They have a number of ways that they protect their ability to serve that content. We have many WikiLeaks supporters and affiliated people involved in our project, and we will be taking similar types of steps to ensure that our content is able to be served regardless of any such nefarious attempts to prevent us from providing people with their universal human right to communication. And that's what it comes down to. We're not trying to help people do illegal things. We won't tolerate illegal things on our platform. We're not going to allow our platform to be used in ways that endanger other users of the platform. But we are going to guarantee that they have the ability to, like I said, freedom of association, freedom of expression, freedom of the press. It's long overdue, and it has to be done. But of course, we can only do it with the help of everybody who recognizes how desperately we need a platform like this to exist. And those people will support us by going to panquake.com, joining, donating, helping us to complete the build and to deliver them with this groundbreaking service.
Yeah, and so that's where people can help us. Go to panquake.com, because you guys have raised a fair amount of money, but you need a little more to actually get people working full time, because there's if you guys hit your goal, right, you could have this up and running fairly quickly. Is that right?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the stage that we're at, the money directly correlates to build time, because the more money is the more developers, and the more developers is the faster we get it developed. And software is ridiculously expensive. Actually, we had our first public delivery meeting last weekend, and I told people, which is absolutely true, that in the commercial software space, to build an application like this would cost between $3 and $10 million. And to get to the stage of the build that we are at already, and provably at, because we've delivered and showed all of our documents and documentation around this, we've already built over $1 million worth of development progress, and we've done it for like 5% of that. And the reason that we've been able to do that is because we have had the goodwill of volunteers who have given their time, their skills, their services, because they want to free our right to communicate. They want to free us from censorship. They want to bring this to bear. But it is very difficult when people have day jobs and families and other commitments, and they can volunteer 2 hours here or 4 hours there, maybe a day on a weekend or something. But it's just not the same as if someone can just 9 to 5 at Monday to Friday and power through the workload. And so we were really lucky. We very quickly, in 3 weeks or somewhere around 3 weeks, we raised $50,000, which covered all of our business establishment expenses, which was an amazing thing, because that guaranteed that, yes, we could run and operate the business, establish and operate the business. But now we have to fundraise to complete the build. So it really does come down to how much marketing we get, how much marketing support we get from regular people by word of mouth to empower us to bring on the types of developers that we need to have. I mean, we have great people already, but we need to be able to bring them on full time, employ them formally, give them a contract, and actually employ them properly to work full time for us. And that takes money, is the bottom line. So if we want this and we want it to happen faster, we've got to put maximum effort into promoting it. Because I'm sure you've noticed, I haven't been invited onto CNN yet. I'm not sure when that email will be coming through to me.
Probably got lost. I don't know what happened. I'm amazed Rachel Maddow hasn't had you on.
Funnily enough, Rachel Maddow, doesn't seem interested, and is unlikely to be. So that's it. It comes down to people power, word of mouth. People power and word of mouth has got us really far so far. In only 6 weeks, we're at $65,000 or something like that raised, which is pretty amazing. Considering, like I said, there's been no mainstream press, no mainstream coverage, nothing like that, which I might add is how you can tell that we're the real deal. It's actually how you can tell we're the real deal. Because if we were some nefarious group who were planning to spy on you and sell your data to the corporations or the governments, we would be on CNN. Like, we would be like plastered all over the news, like alternative service, Panquake, blah, 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 come support them, blah, 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 blah. But no, you don't see that. And the reason that you don't see that is because we are the real deal, and they don't want you to know about the real deal. So they'll simultaneously try to copy us and steal our ideas, and also suppress us and try and stop anyone from knowing that we exist. And that's the game they play. So the only way that we can break that is, like I said, word of mouth. Tell everyone you know. Tell them how, by whatever method you can. You know, whether it's in person, whether it's writing panquake.com in a sticker and putting it on a toilet wall somewhere, whether it's texting. So, I mean, seriously, like that's the type of stuff that actually, believe it or not, will get eyeballs. You know, go and chalk panquake.com on a pavement in the middle of your city, and 10,000 people are going to see it in an hour. That's how we win this fight. By all means, you know, bombard CNN with requests to interview me, but don't be surprised when they don't. It's on us. If we want to change things, if we want to empower ourselves and have the tools of our dreams to communicate with, it's on us to make that happen.
Yeah, it's impressive, and especially, and obviously, like you said, if you were going to help the ruling elites, they would be banging the drum on this like morning, noon, and night, talking about how great it is, and you'd be featured on some magazine or something. But they don't want this out, which is why they
Entrepreneur of the Year. No, not gonna happen.
No, it's National Women's Month. They're not going to talk about you, not with this. Which is and to let the audience know, as I'm here going into now my second month of being demonetized on YouTube, there's been a bunch of Panquake accounts that they've taken down on Twitter, correct?
They wiped out all of our accounts in one fell swoop last weekend, one day, 24 hours or a few hours before our monthly delivery stream, our first big delivery stream. And yeah, they wiped them out across the board. They didn't just lock us out or restrict them. They actually suspended the accounts, like outright suspended. And we made a big song and dance about it on Twitter, and like got 500 or 600 retweets like really fast within an hour or something. Lots and lots of people tagging Twitter support and saying, "What the hell are you doing? Let Panquake back on." And then actually a journalist from a US cable outlet, who I won't disclose the name of, actually took note of that because of the existing issues with antitrust laws and Twitter, and Twitter having been appearing in these antitrust hearings, congressional hearings since 2018. And in those hearings, Twitter's argument for why they're not, supposedly, according to them, not a monopoly, is that they say that they are supportive of competitors in the space and that they want to see competition flourish. And they're totally on board with competition. They're so on board with it that they just like blanket suspended all of our accounts. So this reporter actually contacted Twitter and asked for an official press statement, a response to this blanket suspension of a Twitter competitor. And Twitter unbanned all our accounts in one fell swoop. And then, yeah, they did. Yeah. They unbanned them all, and then they sent us one email that said, it was a mistake and we're sorry for any inconvenience caused. So that's what happened with Twitter last week. However, then we had a brief period of suspension again yesterday on the main account. And we also had our social media admin, I won't name her, but she's at Panquake Tea on Twitter. She was also suspended yesterday. So we had to repeat the process, and they did, in fact, unsuspend us. So it did seem that they were testing us. They were testing our responses, seeing if there would be any pushback, if they could just quietly get rid of us now. This is my personal opinion. Yeah, what can you expect? You know, a corporation with no morals. It's just shocking.
I love when these big tech companies always play the like, oh, whoops, it was some algorithm snafu. It's just like, oh, right. Yeah, we just didn't know. We're just overwhelmed. It was like, what was it, a year or so ago, 2 years ago, when they told Hawaii, when Hawaii got that alert, like, oh, there's an incoming warhead, and people flipped out, and the official response was like, oh, some janitor's broom hit a button or something. Like, okay, right. Like, yeah, that wasn't just designed to get everybody on edge and be ready for a war. I love that the tech companies, you know, they hire some of the smartest people. they're working on this. They have billions of dollars at their disposable. And then they just act like it was all some wacky mix up, you know, just like some episode of Three's Company or something.
Sorry.
Yeah. We don't know what happened. We don't know what happened. Like, oh, our dog got loose in the tech room and hit some buttons by mistake.
Right on the server.
Our dog just happened to spray on all the Panquake accounts. And they all got
only the Panquake accounts.
Only ones. I don't know. It's weird. We keep Panquake jar or something. Like, come on, man. So yeah, it is important. I know it's getting late there for you, so I won't take up too much more of your time, but what can people do to support what you're doing? So Panquake the sooner Panquake is online, the better it is for all of us. Because
look, to be honest with you, I'm just kicking myself that we didn't conceive of and start this project 6 months earlier, a year earlier, 18 months earlier, because I'm seeing the censorship ramp up every single day, and the situation is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And that scares the hell out of me, because not even just personally, but on behalf of everyone, because they really do seem to look like they're going for a future where no blue tick, no voice. No blue tick, no ability to share content. And I'm seeing so many, talk about isolation, I'm seeing so many accounts on Twitter now that just have zero engagement, like 0 replies, 0 retweets, 0 likes. And they're regular people trying to communicate. I remember when I first got my Twitter account, I could log on with, and I only had like 200 followers at the time or something, 250 followers. I could log on and say, oh yeah, just woke up and had breakfast, and I'd get 20 retweets, because the 200 people that did follow me saw my tweet. And now it's so bad that, I mean, before the big September Twitter changes to the retweet function, last September 2020, like the previous month, August, I had 5.1 million reach, which is already a lot less than it should have been. But after those changes, I plummeted down to like 3 point something million, 2 point something million, and now I'm down 75% reach in 4 months. And that's not because people have decided that they're sick of me or I should have changed my hair color. This is because that or got a different dog. This is because Twitter is actively suppressing my content and my reach, as they're doing to all independent media. And it's just absolutely, I don't know how they get away with calling themselves a communications platform when they're engaging in the suppression of communications. And so, yeah, we need Panquake. Everyone knows we need it. 99.99% of the feedback that we've had from the public has been, when? Give it to me. When can I have it? When can I have it? So the answer is, you can. Thank you to the person who just said they like my hair color. Thank you. That's very kind. That's very kind. It's 100% natural, my hair color. Moving a lot, except when I've been cuddling my dog, and then I have like white flecks all over me. But anyways, only from the fur. Moving back to my marketing pitch. We need it now. Everybody knows we need it now. So help us to get it now, please. Panquake.com. If you can't donate, I'm not surprised, because damn near everybody's broke at the moment. But while you still have a voice, while you still have the ability to reach 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, find the people who can donate. Tell them about this. Tell them how badly we need it before we all get silenced for good. Get them on board and help us push this over the line. So currently we need about another $100,000 from where we're at now, and that will get us 3 full-time developers, which is a really good step in the right direction in terms of speeding this thing up. Obviously, we need to employ a lot more staff than that in order to be able to service the full platform in the public release. So we will be pushing out stretch targets. But I think ultimately we're going to be wrapping this up and delivering it probably about 1/20th of the cost of what a commercial company that was taking, venture capital or money from corporations would have spent to build something of similar quality. Because I should point out too, this is not like some hobbyist web page. Our team is commercial software developers. We have long histories of developing commercial products. you will have a UI. I know exactly what the UI is going to look like and the standard of it. Our UI is fresh and clean and intuitive. You know how to use it the second that you look at it, and it is 10,000 times better than Twitter's. Just saying. Just saying.
And you won't have someone from MI6 on your board of directors.
No, but I'll tell you what, someone from MI6, if they want to pay $5 and have a Panquake account, I'm actually okay with that, but I'd just like to say, considering we have, a no violence policy, if the US Army wants an account and they want to start posting videos of them blowing someone up and God knows where, that's definitely going to get them struck off.
Oh, I'd love it if you just kicked off the military from your platform. It would be so great. Sorry, no violence, warmongers. You're gone.
Real world harm.
Yes, it's harmful content. I got demonetized on YouTube for harmful content. But the military can post photos of all their bombs, and isn't it great? Joe Biden is, the diversity of his bombs hitting Syria last week and all this insanity. So yeah, and to everyone out there watching, I talk a lot about on the show about voting with your dollars. And look, what they did to me is just the tip of the iceberg. They could deplatform me. They could kick me off of Twitter. They could make it literally so the only way I can communicate is through Rockfin. And if Rockfin gets big enough, they're going to try to shut that down. But thankfully, Rockfin's blockchain and they pay us in cryptos. So it's better in that regard. But yeah, go to panquake.com. And even if money's tight, like Susie said, I get it. But just sharing that out, hey, support Panquake on your social media, even if you only have a handful of followers, all that stuff helps. You have no idea how that helps. I mean, the minute we started talking about Panquake back in January, all of a sudden, all these people on Twitter changed their profile picture to the Panquake logo.
So they're everywhere. I find new ones every day. I have people messaging me for the first time that I've never talked to before, and they've got a Panquake logo as their user profile picture. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I'll tell you a success story, actually. I'm pretty damn careful about who I let onto our team for obvious reasons. Everybody on our team are tried and true, trusted people that I've worked with for years, worked with on multiple campaigns. It was a really tight-knit group of amazing people. However, there are some people who couldn't donate or who were only able to donate a really small amount back in January, but who have been relentlessly promoting us on social media day in and day out, even though they're not team members, they're not people I know personally, but I constantly see them posting on the hashtag and whatnot. And I won't name who the person is, but they'll probably see this and know. There's a person who had been doing exactly that, like of their own volition, writing amazing messages about Panquake and sending them to people. But I noticed that they were going after key influencers, and they were going after key influencers who they knew would want to know about Panquake and who would be friendly to Panquake. So I would see them up on Chelsea Manning's timeline, up on people like this, and they're posting infographics about, these are our features and this is what we're giving our users and this is the deal. And I've just been sitting back just watching this person and just being like, wow, like that's an amazing initiative. And if there's one thing that really impresses me, it's people who take initiative. And so we reached out to them yesterday and offered them a spot on our social media team and said, hey, we've been watching you for months, going above and beyond to support us. What you're doing is absolutely magic. You're really smart about the way you do it. The messages you put together are great. And the people who you're reaching out to are exactly the right type of people that we need to get the word out to, which like to be a part of the team, and they jumped on board. So, that volunteer workforce is gold to us. It's worth so much more than going and paying some PR company or something, I'd much rather have real people doing it.
Because real people they're passionate about it. I mean, that's why they just did all that work, because they're passionate about it. So why not like hire them?
Someone's just asked, are they paid or is it volunteer? So we are just now, because of donations, starting to be able to pay people. And obviously, primarily that's got to go to developers at the moment, because the developers are the ones that are going to expedite the build process and get the product into your hands faster. But we actually have Panquake is run like a proper business. We have an accounts division. We have a project management division. We have a development team. We've got a marketing team. We've got a business support team who are the people who, if you email our support channels, will write you a lovely letter back. They are, we have amazing graphic. I can see Kimber in the chat. Kimber is responsible for the Panquake logo. She designed it. Kimber has done a bunch of our graphic work and slides that you see come from Kimber. We have amazing, amazing people working for us. And all of them deserve to be paid is the answer to your question. All of them. Now, we're having to prioritize by role who we pay and in what order as we have the ability to earn the money. But there are people who've given 6 months of their lives already just to get us to this point of even being able to market this to you, to the public, and to ask for your help. So out of respect for them and for their work, we're absolutely going to do everything we can to be able to pay our staff. They deserve to be paid. And it's important to me personally, not just to be an ethical product, but to be an ethical business and to be an ethical employer. It's supremely important to me. We have to respect our people, and we have to respect their sacrifice. We have to respect their love and their care and the efforts that they've made, and they need to be remunerated in a way that's fair and across the board. So when we go the extra mile to be transparent about our business and our business practices with our staff, we have full team meetings every week where we discuss every aspect of what we're doing, and also with the public. And that's why if you look at the video of the public development meeting, the delivery meeting I did last weekend, we get really into the nitty gritty of exactly where we're at each stage, what we've accomplished, what we're doing next, et cetera, et cetera. So it's all there for you.
That's fantastic. And you do.
I'm sorry. I'm watching your chat. And there is another question that I really, 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 really want to answer, because I answered it on the Hard Lens Media interview. And then, boom, their channel got pulled before they could actually publish the interview. Someone just said, how are we planning on getting Twitter's volume? And the really easy answer to that is we're not. Because we ran the numbers long ago when we were doing our business plan, and we realized that to be a successful and viable platform, we don't need to shut down Twitter. We don't need to put them out of business. We only need one in every 20,000 Twitter users to convert to Panquake for us to be a commercially successful, viable business that can employ the right number of people that we need to support those users and do everything. We need 1 in 20,000 Twitter users. And to me, that's an achievable goal.
Yeah.
That is a very, very achievable goal. And Twitter can afford to lose 1 in 20,000 users. And if that becomes 2 in 20,000 users, well, too bad for Twitter. And if it becomes 3, well, then so be it. But we need to start with 1. We need to start with 1 in 20,000 Twitter users. And I have no doubt we can do it. Just from the public responses, I have no doubt.
Yeah, just in the last 6 weeks, the public response has been, you're doing this with a great team. You have a great staff of people, and you're doing this with, like you said, barely the amount of money you would actually do this if this was just a commercial enterprise. And so, as I say to this audience all the time, you guys, we all feel like we're beaten and there's not a lot of hope, but this is something to get behind, because this is something that can empower us. I mean, like, there's these little moments of hope, like what the Wall Street Bets people did was just like, that was one of the most amazing acts of activism and revolutionary activism that I've seen. And it's going to take stuff like that. I mean, public protests and all that's great. But I think this digital resistance, this digital activism is really where it's going to be, because, they hit these hedge funds for $70 some billion and no one got shot or beaten or thrown in jail or tear gassed or shot with rubber bullets or anything like that. And so this is how, because they're not going to listen. And, expecting some politician or group of politicians or some party or whatever to swoop in and fix it all, I don't see that happening. So this is how we can do it. And you can be involved in the ground floor, just like I've been pushing Rockfin for 1.5 years now. And so when I got demonetized, it sucked. It's a little scary, but we've been seamlessly transitioning to this platform we've already been using. And so, yeah, go to panquake.com, everybody, and support what Suzy's doing. And if, these are amazing designers. And then if you got Bill Binney, like one of the world's best cryptographers who literally outsmarted the NSA and the FBI, if he's involved, I would think that it's going to be pretty good. It's like
Bill's a genius. He's brilliant. And not only that, but he's a lovely human being. Mm-hmm. He's been so generous with us with his time. He's been absolutely amazing. He's come to meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, architecture meetings, development team meetings, executive meetings, full team meetings. We have all different sub teams, and because we have 24 people working for us, and they're all in little subgroups. And he's just been absolutely amazing with his time and his contributions. So we're so lucky.
Yeah. What's it like seeing a guy with that gifted of a brain? Like, what's it like working with him closely? I mean, I've seen him in interviews and it's amazing, but you're working with him closely on this tech design?
Yeah. I'll tell you what he's like. I don't know. I don't think he'll mind me talking about him. He listens. He listens and he absorbs, and he really takes the time to make sure that he understands exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, and why we're doing it. And then he kind of like reserves himself until he's absorbed all of that. And then he says, well, here's how I think that, here's how I think we can improve that. And this is a technique that I've used in the past, which will achieve this. And it sounds like that is what you're wanting to do. So if we do this, if we do it this way, then we can get to that. And he's really great with the developers. Like there's absolutely just no airs and graces about him. There's no, like we're all like, oh my God, it's Bill Binney. But for Bill, he doesn't care. He's just Bill. So he's very, very down to earth and very, very warm, actually, and very committed, like absolutely committed to the project. Like when he comes to our full team meetings, most of it is just me sitting there going, okay, here's the deliverables we had for this week, blah, blah, blah. Here's the deliverables we got for next week, blah, blah, blah. But he's there for the whole hour listening to it, absorbing it all, just so that he can get to the part at the end of the meeting where everybody gives their 2 minutes, 3 minutes feedback. And there's Bill giving his 2 minutes, 3 minutes feedback. It's just he's one of just a team member. He's part of the team, and magic to work with, absolutely magic. And I mean, he's not the only one. Sean O'Brien, who you've had on your show from Yale Privacy Lab, that is like one of the top privacy experts on this planet. That is like world leading. Like I'm sure many people would know Bruce Schneier. Like Sean was just on a stage today doing a panel with Bruce Schneier from Bruce Schneier blog, who's like arguably the world's biggest like tech blogger and has been for the last 30 years. That's our Sean. And our Sean gives of himself morning, afternoon, and night. Like it'd be really easy to see that he's, part of the team and just think maybe he just shows up once a month or something. This is someone who's like on the phone in instant message chats, like throughout every single day. Oh, what about this? Oh, I was thinking we could do this. Oh, I'll jump in and help you with that. And like just constantly engaging and constantly giving to the project. And I can't actually express how grateful I am for that. And it's not because they think the name Panquake is cute or because they love Suzy. It's because they want this for the world. Yeah. And they have skills to contribute to make it happen. And they've been waiting for an opportunity like this, but they didn't have that vehicle to achieve it. And they can see that now there is a viable vehicle to achieve it. There is a real hope. And so they're all coming together like this. Everyone's grouping up together and combining their forces because we need this so badly for everyone. And that's why we just need the public to also throw their arms around us and all of us together, walk to that future, kick big tech to the curb. And that's one other thing I always get asked, or I get told, when Panquake comes, I'm shutting down my Twitter account. Don't shut your Twitter account down. Don't do that. Use your Twitter account to relentlessly promote Panquake. Why would you shut your Twitter account down? You should be using your Twitter account to copy all of your Panquake links onto Twitter. Like, this is my opinion. Same with you and with YouTube. YouTube is a vehicle for you to relentlessly promote Rockfin And that's probably a big part of why Rockfin's becoming so successful. So I am totally for subversion of the censored, corporately owned platforms in order to promote, especially in lieu of mainstream, when mainstream media is AWOL on this, use those corrupt platforms to promote the ethical alternative. Do it. I am already all day, every day.
Yeah, it's great. And it's great to see like your team isn't just like, as you were saying, we're just like, oh, this is a cool idea. They realize like this is an important thing. Like there's a purpose to this. You're not just like startups, like we're going to do this and, sell it to a VC company for $2 billion.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that crap. It's like, no, our freedom of speech, our way of interacting socially online it's like, it's this very sort of authoritarian global, ruling elites that are just crushing us at every turn. And we have to do this is an imperative that needs to happen because, we're not, society has been completely eroded and it's just about these ruling elites doing whatever they want and making all of the money and extracting all of the wealth and labor. And we're just barely getting by. And it's like, it's like you're reminded of it every day. Like, there's food lines. We have over 500,000 COVID deaths in America. We still haven't gotten the stimulus money yet. But by the way, hey, the billionaires have made record money this last year. They've made over $1 trillion this last year. Oh, by the way, they just wasted 1 point something trillion on the F-35, but you can't get your $1,400 check. And everyone's like waking up to this fact. Oh, Joe Biden's going to save us. Really? He's bombing Syria. He's
going to save the military-industrial complex. That's what he's going to save.
That's what he's going to say.
He's going to save Boeing.
Yeah, and Raytheon and
exactly.
Grumman. And so, yeah, this is important on so many levels. And like you say, don't delete your Twitter account. Use it to promote Panquake. Just like right now, I'm live streaming on YouTube right now. But if you're watching me on YouTube, go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and sign up. So Susie, thank you so much. I know it's really late there and I appreciate you staying up late for us. And everybody, please go to panquake.com and donate whatever you can, or even just share the link to panquake.com on your social media, because that'll get the awareness out there. The more money that gets raised, the more people she can bring on like full-time staff members to get this thing done. So the sooner it's done, the better we are.
I see there's like 20 different people in chat asking what it costs. When we launch our application, going to panquake.com will automatically give you an anonymous account, basic free account that the most basic functionality is available on. You don't even have to put your profile details or anything if you don't want to. You can just use it anonymously. But if you want to use all of the cool, amazing new custom features that we've built, the new functionality that we've built for social reach and engagement and amplification, it's $5 per month per user. That's it. Never any more. Not more than $5, not less than $5. Just $5 flat across the board. And that unlocks all kinds of amazing stuff. So it's that simple. $5 a month, no more, no less. Thank you so much for having me here. One of the coolest things to do when you go to our GoFundMe, Go Get Funding page, which is just hit donate on panquake.com and you get there, is to look at the comments. There's literally 2,000 comments there. And when you scroll down them, you see what people are saying about Panquake. And the overwhelming theme is, one woman actually said, she's like, I went to sleep with no hope. And then I woke up, found you, and I have hope because of you. But one other person said, we're going to be telling our kids that we made this donation. And I was like, wow, like people get it. This is historic. It's a historic moment. And this is our chance, guys. This is it.
This is digitally like, walking across the bridge with MLK in Selma, Alabama. I mean, this is literally like that kind of thing. I mean, we are fighting an authoritarian force that wants to shut us up and control our lives. And so this is not just some cool new app. This is necessary, man. This is the Boston Tea Party. I mean, this is serious. So it's cool. So thank you, Susie, so much. And say hi.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Say hi to everybody back in Moscow.
I will, and hopefully we'll see you here in the future. Take care, Graham.
All right, sweetie. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please hit the like button, the subscribe button. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood and rockfin.com/Graham Elwood. where you can support the show. Also, I have a Bitcoin wallet, a Bitcoin Cash wallet, and an Ethereum wallet in the show notes. We're taking cryptocurrency. I have a Coinbase affiliation link. We're going to be getting on some other exchanges. So that's how you support the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. YouTube is unsubscribing us at an alarming rate. I have a PayPal button at GrahamElwood.com. I even have a Venmo at Graham-Elwood. There's a lot of ways to support our show. We are getting crushed by YouTube. We've dipped under 73,000 subscribers because of YouTube. Thanks for supporting what we do.